Yo, Prime members, so check this out. We are here to talk about our favorite thing in the world, and that is Amazon Prime.
That's right. We all have different interests, but there's one thing that brings us together: Prime.
As members ourselves, we found ways to maximize our Prime benefits to get the most out of our passions.
From fast and free shipping, streaming of movies and music, and even exclusive deals and discounts, Prime has it all.
And what's great is that you can use all of these services to elevate your hobbies and interests.
Whether you're a bookworm, a fitness fanatic, or a gaming guru, Prime has something for everyone. I promise you that.
So go ahead, explore and indulge in all that Prime has to offer. We promise you won't be disappointed.
Time to get more out of whatever you're into. Prime. And that's that on that.
What's up, everybody? You are now listening to the Success Playbook Podcast, where we talk about pop culture, life and career success, and of course, we're going to talk about who got dunked on the night before. I'm your host, Chanel S. Reynolds, and I've been in the sports industry for several years. My goal is to take what I've learned from years of dominating the sports industry as a Black woman to help my listeners defy the odds and level up in life and career. Now, let's dig into this week's episode. Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your girl, Chanel S. Reynolds, and you are listening to the Success Playbook Podcast. Welcome, welcome, welcome to another show, another week of litness, another week of Black excellence, another week of just being dope, right? All of my listeners are go-getters. We are a tribe of hustlers. We're a tribe of people who get up and go get it, and we get it out the mud, and I love that for us. Thank you again for supporting the Success Playbook Podcast. Thank y'all for supporting me, your girl. If you know me personally, love you. If you know me by way of social media, whether it be Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, whatever, love you just as much. I honestly could not have asked for a better audience than the audience that I have. Like, y'all are really amazing. Y'all rock with me with whatever I put out there. Like, y'all are tapped in, and I love it. If you are listening to this podcast by way of Spotify or Apple Podcasts or any of those apps, I want you to please subscribe to the podcast and please leave your girl a 5-star review. Okay, it helps with the algorithms, and we want to bless as many people as possible. Secondly, if you're listening by way of Instagram, or like listening to a clip on Instagram or YouTube or social or YouTube shorts, if you are there, I want you all to leave a comment and share, right? I want you to take a screenshot of what you're listening to and share it to your story, and make sure you tag me so I can thank you for your support. Yeah, I think that's everything. Let's move on to the next segment of the show.
Here's the thing. We're all going to go through failure. The question isn't if you'll go through. The question is how you'll go through. Will you allow this moment to make you or break you? Will this circumstance make you bitter or make you better? Grab your copy of The Art of Taking L's to understand the breakdown of my personal concept, The Art of Taking L's. This book includes biblical and practical principles to help you effectively navigate through life and career changes. More importantly, the book shows its readers how to embrace adversity instead of running. You need this in your life. Grab your copy at www.chanelsreynolds.com.
This portion of the show is called the check-in. Now, the check-in is exactly what it sounds like. It is our opportunity to check in on one another, right? We're going to tell each other about what we've been up to, how we've been navigating in our space, how we've been elevating, what have we been doing to better ourselves. So let's check in. Well, first and foremost, what I have been up to is this. Like, I have been very intentional about consistently creating content for my audience over the past few weeks. So I know that, y'all, that is an area of struggle for me, only because, like, a lot of content creators are just that. Like, they're full-time content creators, and that is amazing. But I am not going to sit here and lie to y'all and tell y'all it's not a challenge to do this while having a full-time job, and a demanding full-time job at that, and a highly visible demanding full-time job. Like, I do a lot, and a lot of what I do, appears on the tables of my superiors and their superiors, and yeah, so sometimes it can be a lot, but whenever time permits and I can take a little extra time to create content, like when things slow down at work, then I'm definitely going to do that. And in 2023, like I am more dedicated to showing up for you all. Hence my next point, the All-Star Accelerator. So along the lines of me wanting to be more present for you all, I created a mentorship group. It is a 4-week mentorship group called the All-Star Accelerator, and it is 3 easy steps to set yourself apart and land your dream job in sports. So honestly, y'all, I get contacted all the time about individuals who want to set up some time or just talk about my path or talk about this, talk about their path and how they can maneuver in this space. And as much as I want to take all those calls and all those meetings, time just does not always permit. So I'll take majority of them, but some I just can't. But I wanted this to be an opportunity for me to get all of those individuals in one mentorship cohort. You all can ask me whatever it is that you want. I'll ask you all questions. I'll provide guidance, and we'll take it from there. So the course holistically is a self-paced, pre-recorded course because I know some of you all are professionals, some of you all are students, and our schedules vary. So it will be 4 weeks worth of modules, and you'll go through that at your own pace. And then at one point throughout the 4-week course, we are going to have a live session because I know some of you work best that way. So there will be at least one live Q&A session where everybody will be on the call. You all can ask whatever it is that you want. And we're just going to have a lit time on Zoom. So I'm really excited for the All-Star Accelerator. Y'all, I only opened this up to 10 individuals originally a couple weeks ago, but now I'm at like 20. That's honestly, to me, that's amazing. Like I said I would be happy with just 5 people signing up, especially with this being the first time. But to see that I have 20, like it really shows that there's a need in this marketplace for that. So I'm all about, bettering yourself. I'm all about career development, professional coaching, leadership coaching. So that is what I expect to do while executing this 4-week course. So I'm really excited about it. That also brings me into my next point is that, after we do this course, I will most likely continue to do it throughout the year. I don't know if it'll be like once a quarter or whatever. But outside of that, like I see the need more than ever for us to have community, right? I see the need. I've been getting the DMs. I've been getting the excitement in everyone's voices, telling me that they've signed up and that they're ready to get started and they want to talk to me and they want to make sure it's going to be some sort of live element because they want to ask me questions. Y'all, I hear you and I see you. With that said, I am trending toward creating some sort of community for us in 2023, right? A monthly community. It doesn't have to be extensive because we're all busy, but opportunity for all of us, whether we're sport professionals, students who are aspiring to be in sport, or professionals who work in a different industry and want to transition into sport. I want to create a space where we can hop on a call monthly. It can be a Q&A with myself. It can be a collective, mastermind where we're asking each other questions. And then I wanted to have the opportunity to invite on some of my industry expert friends. So like you'll hear from my friends who are sport agents. You'll hear from my friends who are at maybe like the league office for one of the teams or for one of the leagues. So I'm still thinking through that, but if you all think that you'll benefit from something like that, shoot me a DM and just like let me know, like, hey, Chanel, heard the podcast. I think you should do the community. Like, let me know, because one thing Chanel is not going to do is do something in vain and for me to create this thing and 2-3 people sign up. Not with all these things I got going on, not with all these jobs I have. So if this is actually a need, I want y'all to tell me, but if not, no worries. I'll just, continue to do the quarterly course or whatever. So just wanted to put that out there. I also wanted to introduce the idea of a new segment within this podcast, which will be to Ask Chanel. So I want to, if you all can like maybe start sending your questions over in LinkedIn or Instagram, and I can start to answer your questions here on this podcast. So I would be honored to do that. I think that would be a great element to the show.
I hope you're enjoying this week's episode so far. If you haven't already, be sure to grab your copy of The Success Playbook, written by yours truly. This book shares with readers some of my secrets to success, including understanding your power, being intentional, unleashing your beast mode, and my ultimate favorite, the art of taking L's. Grab your copy at www.chanelsreynolds.com.
Now we're going to pivot into the locker room. The locker room is where we discuss all things about culture, race, current events, sports, all that good stuff. So I want you all to lean in and pull up to the locker room. All right, so if you have been tuned into mainstream media, then you know that the current trial for Megan Thee Stallion and Tory Lane.
Yo, Prime members, so check this out. We are here to talk about our favorite thing in the world, and that is Amazon Prime.
That's right. We all have different interests, but there's one thing that brings us together: Prime.
As members ourselves, we found ways to maximize our Prime benefits to get the most out of our passions.
From fast and free shipping, streaming of movies and music, and even exclusive deals and discounts, Prime has it all.
And what's great is that you can use all of these services to elevate your hobbies and interests.
Whether you're a bookworm, a fitness fanatic, or a gaming guru, Prime has something for everyone. I promise you that.
So go ahead, explore and indulge in all that Prime has to offer. We promise you won't be disappointed.
Time to get more out of whatever you're into. Prime. And that's that on that.
Is currently going on. Y'all, it has been so much confusion with this court case. Like, it feels like there is a lot being hidden. It feels like nobody is 100% telling the truth. And it feels like this thing is a little shaky, right? It feels like this thing, like, what's really going on? Are we going to ever know the full story? And I honestly don't think so. But what I will say is that we should still be gentle to the victim. Who's the victim here? Well, Megan Thee Stallion is the only person that got shot that night, right? We can all have in question who pulled the trigger, who had the gun, who shot who fought who smashed who, or whatever. Yes, I said it. But at the end of the day, y'all, Megan Thee Stallion is the only one that got shot. She's the only one that was physically harmed. So I ask that we all have a little grace toward her, because the way that she's being dragged on social media is terrible. And I can only imagine her mental health at this point. Like, she said something in the courtroom and that thing just shook me. She said, like, I wish he would have shot and killed me because I didn't know I would have to go through all this. How do you not have empathy for someone that says something like that? So, yes, the case is a little shaky, but I'm going to ask that we give Megan Thee Stallion some grace, because at the end of the day, she was shot, y'all. And that's that on that. Moving on to our sports segment. So I know it's been a few weeks, actually maybe over a month, but Coach Prime has officially announced that he is leaving the MEAC after 3 years. Yes, he is leaving Jackson State University, an HBCU. For those of you who are not familiar, HBCU stands for Historically Black Colleges and Universities. I am a proud graduate of an HBCU. Coach Prime or Deion Sanders is heading to Colorado University, which is a major conference football team. So shout out to him. You know, it's I guess, depending on how you look at it, good opportunity for him to showcase his skill set. There's been like a lot of, he's actually at this point, I believe he's already started at Colorado, because I think that they started to show footage of him there, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, there's been a lot of chatter about this online. And of course, like, I'm not a hater. I'm happy for Deion Sanders. I'm happy for Coach Prime. If he looks at that as some sort of elevation, then by all means, go off, right? Do your thing. Keep proving yourself. Shout out to you for your next step, right? For those of you, though, who don't understand the level of disappointment and the level of, I'll say hurt a little bit, and And for those of you who just don't understand the emotions that we're experiencing right now as HBCU graduates, to see him leave, like, I don't know what to tell you, because what I've been seeing in the media is like people have been just trying to justify their opinion by showing their affiliation with HBCUs. Like, they'll start it off, and it's so annoying. They'll start the sentence off with like, hey, yeah, well, I grew up in this area, so I grew up around HBCU, so I can speak to this. Actually, no, you can't. Or my parents went to an HBCU, so I can speak to this. No, sorry, you don't really have a dog in this fight. Like, you can, but I really don't, I'm taking your opinion with a grain of salt. But for the individuals that actually attended an HBCU that actually have a connection and tie to HBCU athletics, yes, there is a level of hurt, and nobody's going to make me feel bad for that. Can we normalize the fact that, yes, he's moving on to having a great opportunity for him, but there is still a level of, sadness there. So, like, let us be sad a little bit. We'll get over it, but just let us be sad. Like, the only thing that concerns me is that, because he came in with all the, like, let's lift up HBCUs. Let's build this in our house. This HBCUs are for us. Like, let's do our thing as Black people. Let's bring all the big athletes to HBCUs. And we actually saw that over the past 3 years. We saw these amazing athletes that were passing up these bigger PWI schools, and they were choosing HBCUs because that's how much of the forefront HBCUs have been over the past few years. So to me, to see this like pivot, to me, it sends the wrong message. To me, or it can potentially send the wrong message. It can send the message that you have to look outside of the HBCU in order to elevate. And that's not the case. Again, like, I'm not a hater. I'm definitely happy for him. I hate this narrative that people are trying to say he's a sellout. He's not a sellout, but I don't know. Like, I don't know what would have been the appropriate timeline. But with change, there's going to be some disappointment. And I think that's just what we're experiencing. So let us live. We'll get over it. And if you didn't go to an HBCU, I feel sorry for you, son. I got 99 problems and a PWI ain't one. JK. One article from The Atlantic, one person actually, they quoted this. So they said that Sanders reinforced the narrative that mainstream validation is more important than fostering Black excellence at a Black institution. Now, I know that is a major statement. That is like, that's huge. That's a very big statement. I can see how they came up with that quote. I can't say that I necessarily 100% agree with, like, that's what he was trying to do. I can see how it can be perceived that way, though. But yeah, at the end of the day, if we're saying that, he went here to amplify the exposure of HBCUs, well, he did that. Well, he did it for Jackson. I don't know if he did it for every HBCU. I can't say that. But he did it. He elevated Jackson State. He brought in resources to the school. He gave those young athletes exposure. I was actually at a conference, and he brought a lot of his athletes there, which was really dope to see. So if we want to say, like, mission accomplished, box checked, cool. He did his job. It's okay for him to move on. But similar to what Dr. Umar said, like, the revolution ain't about one person. Right? It's not about you. It's about the impact that you're making. So I don't know if 3 years is long enough to make the impact that he was originally looking to do. I don't know. But congratulations to him. Shout out to him for his next step. Y'all, Brittany Griner is free. Brittany Griner is free. sis got on a plane, got up out of there, and she's back in the United States of America. I'm really happy for her. Shout out to Brittany Griner. Brittany, we kept you lifted in prayers. We are still continuing to pray about your mental health, because I can only imagine what you saw, what you may have experienced, and what you may still be experiencing, like PTSD from that situation. So we're keeping you lifted in prayer. We're happy that you're home. And yeah. And these newfound political commentators who are saying, oh, why would you trade Britney for this person? It's making America look weak. It's not going to be beneficial. Like, y'all just got into politics probably about yesterday. So relax. Like, I trust this leadership to an extent. I believe that they have something worked out, something up their sleeve that's going to mitigate whatever issue that y'all are trying to create. Like, let's just be happy for Britney. Let's be happy for Britney. It's not your job to worry about who was released for Britney and all that. It's really not. Like, let's be happy for Britney. Okay? And we're going to keep the other U.S. citizens who are still in jail lifted in prayer, who are still over there in Russia. We're going to keep them lifted in prayer, because I can only imagine what they're going through. So yeah, let's do our part and just continue to spread positivity. All right, now we're going to get into our show segment. So if you were listening to last week's segment, we talked about a LinkedIn challenge. And the LinkedIn challenge was, I believe it was like 30 days of like LinkedIn sports content. And it was a series of questions that we were supposed to be answering on LinkedIn. Now, I said that I was going to take this to my podcast. So this is what I'm doing now. The question last week was for me to tell you all a little bit more about myself. So in last week's episode, you can go back and listen to it. I explained, who I am, my background, what I do, why I love what I do, my family, my pets, my favorite color, like anything you can think of, I included on that last week's podcast. So definitely go back and listen to it. For this week's question, though, from the LinkedIn challenge that I've adopted as my show content, the question is, what is a hot topic in sport business or among athletes? So I broke this down into two segments. I'm going to discuss a hot topic among athletes, and then I'm going to discuss a hot topic within sport business. So the first one is among athletes. So NIL, y'all, if you're not familiar, NIL stands for name, likeness, and image, or name, image, and likeness, right? So NIL has become a very hot topic over the past few years, 2 or 3 years, especially among collegiate athletes. Now, if you're not familiar with the name, image, and likeness and why it's so special, well, this gives collegiate athletes the opportunity to have brand deals and exposure, allowing them to profit off of simply being themselves. Now, you all know that I am huge on having a personal brand. I am huge on establishing something that allows you to be you and you get paid off of just simply being you. So NIL is a hot topic, and I am happy that these athletes are tapping into it. I remember I was watching a football game. It was a college football game, and I saw a commercial. It was like Doritos or something, and the athletes were collegiate athletes. Like, that was dope. Don't quote me on the brand. I don't know if it was Doritos or not, but it was amazing seeing college athletes promoting something, being a brand, walking in, just being themselves, and them getting paid for that. So if you're not familiar with NIL and you're in the sport industry, I challenge you just to read up on it a little bit. It is a very interesting concept. And to be quite honest, I think all of us should tap into name, image, and likeness. Like, we all should have a personal brand, whether if you're on the field, on the court, or in the office. If you follow me on social media, then you see that I capitalize on who I am, right? I capitalize on my name, image, and likeness. You will see Chanel S. Reynolds plastered everywhere. You'll see it on my website. You'll see it in my signature. You'll see it on my Instagram or all of my social media channels. That's because I am building brand awareness of my personal brand aka me. I'm just sharing with people who I am. And then I'm also just sharing like my personality. And I'm allowing that to open up revenue streams for me, such as speaking engagements, such as podcasts, such as XYZ. So I think that all of us should tap into NIL, name, image, and likeness. And we should use our name, our image, and our likeness to create a additional revenue stream for us. Because why not? So pivoting into actual like the sport business hot topic, I want to talk about flexibility and work-life balance. Now, the reason why this became a hot topic is because back in 2020, when it was the pandemic and nobody knew the direction of where the pandemic would take us, right? No one knew that we would be working from home, right? There were rumors starting to rumble like on the news, but I was like, okay, yeah, well, my company would never do that. Like, we come into the office. That's what we do. Grind time, baby. Like, that's what we do. But little did I know is that probably by the end of that day, I would be packing up my laptop and they would say, hey, pack up everything you need. You can't come back. We'll tell you when you can come back. So I tell that story because COVID has opened the door to give us access to flexibility and work-life balance. If you were in the sport industry for any period of time, then you know the grind culture, the hustle culture that comes with it. You know that it's glorified to be the first one in, last one to leave, to always raise your hand for those volunteer events, to always raise your hand for those weekend events, and to just be that person that your company can count on, like making sure that you're showing up. That was great for when we did it, but this new era that we're in, excuse me, this new era that we're in, job seekers are looking for flexibility. Job seekers are looking for the opportunity to have work-life balance, to work from home, and grind culture is just not sexy to them. Grind culture is not appealing to them. So the reason why it's a hot topic is because it's causing a big pivot in the industry. So now what you'll see is, yes, we still value hustle. We still value, working hard and creating a name for yourself in this industry. But now what you'll see is like these companies are more, they're more accepting to the idea of work-life balance and working from home and flexibility and PTO policies. Like the sport industry is starting to catch up to like the technology industry. Now that's going to be a long catch up because tech is like out there, right? Tech, when it comes to work-life balance, tech is like top tier. But I will say that the sport industry is currently making the stride to be more on trend with flexibility and work-life balance. All right, y'all. That's my show. Once again, it's your girl, Chanel S. Reynolds. Thank you for tuning in for yet another week of just being amazing, right? Another week of success. Another week of just doing the thing. Okay, y'all have been amazing. Keep supporting your girl. Like, comment, subscribe, leave a 5-star review, and I will see you all next week.
Yo, Prime members, so check this out. We are here to talk about our favorite thing in the world, and that is Amazon Prime.
That's right. We all have different interests, but there's one thing that brings us together: Prime.
As members ourselves, we found ways to maximize our Prime benefits to get the most out of our passions.
From fast and free shipping, streaming of movies and music, and even exclusive deals and discounts, Prime has it all.
And what's great is that you can use all of these services to elevate your hobbies and interests.
Whether you're a bookworm, a fitness fanatic, or a gaming guru, Prime has something for everyone. I promise you that.
So go ahead, explore and indulge in all that Prime has to offer. We promise you won't be disappointed.
Time to get more out of whatever you're into. Prime. And that's that on that.